despite the fact that they were behind.
Yeah, I completely agree. 5 of the 6 bans actually the same as they were in the first game of the series, the last time Cloud9, and now one of the picks exactly the same as well. That time, the first 2 picks by CLG were actually
I like this.
But the Xayah Rakan, because of the Caitlyn ban specifically, give them something they can play around.
Yeah, that is really nice. I do still think that there can be answers. Draven Morgana, yep, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. This is actually such a strong duo into this. So the Caitlyn is the traditional counter, but stand aside works incredibly well on the Rakan engages.
Yeah.
And can actually set up for the binding very well also. As far as pure fighting power, it is incredibly strong in that 2v2, and this is going to have to change the way the Cloud9 are playing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. That's exciting.
Is that Qiayana top, or you think that PowerOfEvil is actually playing?
I
Who cares?
think it's PowerOfEvil Qiayana. I have seen him practicing it in solo queue and finding a decent amount of success with it, as well as needing to play it through mid lane. I think Qiayana is much better in mid than top, although we have seen it in pro play
and in jungle.
3 positions.
Yeah.
But that is, luckily we get to breathe in the second ban phase. That's a lot to take in.
Oh my.
There's so much attention that needs to be drawn on the map now because bottom lane is something that you're needing to play around.
Yeah.
But if you don't play around Qiayana, that champion can get pushed in by other range matchups. So I'm wondering where the attention is going to be spent.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're drafting Draven for Cloud9, you have to be wanting to play towards that bottom side. It has been more about, mid, playing a lot around Nisqy, less about bot lane, maybe some defensive play around there, but forcing top, forcing mid. So I do think this is going to kind of signify a bit of a change from Cloud9 and where they're going to spend their resources on the map. I would not be surprised to see Cloud9 go with a heavy pushing mid lane, who can then just try to shove in Qiayana, roam to the bot side, look for 4-man plays around this Draven, because cashing out the Draven is so big if you can make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. And looking at the bans from Cloud9, I'm wondering what they're trying to set up. They banned out Gragas Jarvan, which basically leaves up Sejuani and says, CLG, take this now or you're doomed, which would also say that C9 really wants to play maybe a Trundle or something else against it.
And Sedge is also not good into Morgana. It can be very difficult to actually land the ultimates long range, so maybe that is what they are looking to force. They're actually going to save it to last, so this could still be Qiayana jungle. It is played in LEC sometimes. I am expecting it to be mid, but clearly, with those jungle bans, CLG was a little bit worried about a potential counter pick or something that they had planned, so they are going to save their last pick here, keep it flexible, and could still grab a jungler last.
And they are physical heavy right now. Want to see what comes through. Rek'Sai for more early power. We're not seeing the, of course, Jarvan's banned away, but we're not seeing Sejuani. We're seeing early pressure. We've got now Taliyah in the mid lane now as well.
This is exactly what I was talking about. You go for something that can push, that can roam. You are looking for 4-man plays on the bottom side. This is very obvious, so CLG have to be ready for it. Elise is someone who can answer that early game pressure from the Rek'Sai.
And this is nearly identical to Cloud9's draft from the tiebreaker game that we saw 2 weeks ago. The only difference is Draven is subbed out for Caitlyn. So that is why these teams have been almost daring each other to pick Sejuani, because they want as much possible early game power, and probably because CLG needs at least a hint of magic damage in their team composition, which they can get from the Elise.
And I think Cloud9's preparation is really showing through here. The fact that, the Caitlyn was supposed to protect this Xayah Rakan, but Cloud9 snap-picked Draven. They clearly have this as the backup, as another answer into this matchup, and I am excited to see how well Nisqy can perform on this pick, because it is a very powerful duo, and if you get that Draven going, this is the kind of composition that can run over a team in the mid and early game.
And Azael, every single lane is volatile.
Yeah.
There's not a pick in this draft that you say, okay, let's just play back. Maybe Aatrox needs to do that a little bit early against Jayce, but Ruin's not the type of player that lets lanes go that way. He will either die or get the kill in the 1v1.
Well, it's going to be an exciting one. This is what could be the last game of the semifinals here today, as Cloud9 have their 2-0 start. But keep in mind, just 4 months ago, we had TSM reverse sweep them on the way to nearly the spring title. CLG must do this now. They must win 3 straight. They must win this best of 5. They want a shot at the title for the first time in several years. Cloud9, though, have been stopping them at every single turn. And an early game composition loads onto the Rift. Taliyah back in mid, and a Draven for Sneaky, as Counterlogic Gaming put on PowerOfEvil's first Qiayana game of the split.
And not only is it a first Qiayana game with a split, it feels like a complete departure from the normal CLG style, where they're going to play through the bot and the top lane, and then mid lane is just going to kind of be there. But PowerOfEvil needs to take the initiative in this game to go elsewhere.
It's the second Melee champion PoE's played all split. He played an Aurelia game a little while ago, and that was it. But to get another look at this draft, we've got Cloud9's coach staff standing by.
Thanks, guys. Cloud9 up 2-0 right now. I want to get your first impressions from this draft. Very volatile, and I love the Draven Morgana bot lane.
They trying to like scaling game 1 and 2, and it doesn't work. So probably make some spicy on the bot and top and mid, you know. So something gonna happen. We knew it, and I think our draft looks way better. So.
Something that I was curious about, because I know you have 2 subs sitting on the bench right now, I was wondering if there were going to potentially be subbed in, especially with such a dominating lead that the team has so far.
I mean, we are dominating team so far, so why we are using subs for that, you know?
Well, I mean, Cloud9 style, you guys always using some of these games to kind of give more stage time to these players.
That's for the regular season, not the playoffs.
Got it. All right. Well, anything that you said to the players before stepping into this game, because the last time that Cloud9 was up 2-0 didn't go so well.
Probably they are desperate. Be careful. They don't like to get flamed by fans or teammates or family, so probably they're gonna try hard more than before.
And they don't want to get flamed by you. Reaper, thank you and best of luck. Back to you guys.
Flamed by family as well.
Your mom's calling you. What were you doing, Sneaky?
Yeah, how are you doing that? Either way, we were talking about, even before that interview, how C9 has really done their homework in this draft phase. They know team compositions like this can work against CLG. However, we haven't seen it against CLG's other attempt at very early game as well.
Yeah, and Reaper said, we were expecting some spicy picks. They tried to go late, didn't work. If you're going to go early, match early power with early power, right? Powerful early game jungler here with the Rek'Sai. Hail of Blades, very powerful early game rune. You have roaming and push from Nisqy. You have this great 2v2 duo. So they have drafted to match that power and are now going to be dependent upon their execution. Will be interesting to see how that works out. Something also worth noting is the difference in summoners between these marksman players on the bottom side. It is heal versus that teleport. So if Stixxay, does get committed into an all-in, you are going to be at even more of a risk of getting burst down. But that being said, if you can survive it, teleport is a great advantage. Svenskeren already here looking for a gank.
Right now, CLG playing safely enough to not be found out here. The first gank turns into about 4 seconds sitting in a brush and walking right back out. Pretty equal game state early on right now. We're seeing heavy pushing the top side. Ruin, as you expect in that matchup. Sneaky gonna not get any fences on the way back, so no root coming in just yet. But we're seeing top lane pressure. Svenskeren's gonna get the first of the bottom scuttle here. Biofrost walking around Wiggily nearby, but shouldn't be in time to stop this. Might be able if needed.
Yep.
Out they go.
Early game push definitely going to the side of C9, both from the mid and the bottom lane, which is why we're seeing Svenskeren go to Scuttlecraft, always going to places where they would have an advantage. And skill shots land for Nisqy.
Big damage there on a PoE. 200 HP left on him. Chugs the very last potion. Not going to be a ton right there as Ruin. He's pushing in Licorice. Does some really good damage. 26-15 in CS with pretty much equal sized minion waves is well done. Mid lane, though, very similar here as Nisqy is 28-20.
Yeah, feel like these lanes are playing out kind of the way they should early, but Ruin, because he's pushed up, the gank's coming.
Always get pulled back in.
Oh, pulled in. They find another knockup. Ruin's days are numbered. Finds a bit of damage, but Svenskeren is going to find that kill. First blood in the top lane.
And C9 knows exactly where they should go to punish. They secure the bottom side, they get the vision, and then they roam up 3 people right when PoE would recall. So there was actually no way that C9 could get out-ganked in that play, unless Stixxay somehow teleported into the abandoned bot lane. So a very smart gank by C9.
Yeah, really intelligent, and Ruin kind of playing without respect to the enemy jungler. Getting in Licorice's face, trying to shove that into the turret and really bully him under it, and he got punished very heavily because of this great answer from C9. So Ruin, trying to get this wave reset, trying to get a good trade. The pullback from the chains was critical. He would have had to run out to the left first, but even so, Svenskeren's already behind you. You're not escaping this. Best you could do is maybe trade flash for flash, but that's usually in the advantage of the jungler.
Exactly, and we're going to see now, I don't think Ruin's going to change his mindset in this laning phase. He's in the mindset that he has to win this lane. He actually had the most isolated deaths at 25 during the regular season of all LCS players, and had 2 isolated deaths in the first game, yet another one here. It is something that C9 is able to capitalize on, especially when CLG had their other 2 lanes pushed in.
One thing I do kind of like about this sort of style, though, is it allows you to get big lane advantages. Nisqy gonna get jumped on here.
He dukes away from the knockback, but still takes plenty of damage to walk right back out of that play. Now a bind to the bottom side, not gonna be much. Biofrost safe.
So yeah, to kind of revisit that point very briefly, it's drawing pressure away from the bottom lane, right? And we know that this is kind of a counter pick here on the bottom side, and they want to bring Svenskeren down to get this Draven ahead. If the Jayce is playing with Reckless Abandon, that's pressure on top side.
Then pulled around the flash interview, he finds the root, they're gonna get the damage output. Nisqy gonna burn down, Svenskeren flashes, but cannot find the knock if he's running around still, gets the knock up there on a PoE, but it's a 2v1. Can they get any more damage? He's invisible right now. Svenskeren gets stunned yet again. They're gonna have the burst, but he gets one first. He gets the heal. Finally, the turret is there. PoE will indeed fall. A 2 for 2 as the turret claims the last.
And that's the type of aggression you want to see out of CLG, but Svenskeren is there to be able to trade kills around. It almost looked like he was going to be just short of the kill. We're going to watch it one more time. The initiation isn't perfectly clean from CLG. If that cocoon lands, maybe they just kill him before anyone can react. But because the first cocoon was dodged, they chase into the jungle. Svenskeren with Hail of Blaze gets a bunch of damage down on early to PoE, and then is kind of just buying time until Morgana and Draven could roam. CLG do commit for the kill, and since PoE knows he would die, he'd rather not give the kill over to Morgan Draven, instead give the kill over to Rek'Sai, which at the end of the day was a smart call.
Yeah, and some very aggressive play here early from this mid-jungle duo out of CLG that you love to see. Ruin, though, has the phase rush, he'll get straight back, and it is Moby Boots first for PowerOfEvil, so that is like the least PowerOfEvil buy I think I've ever seen. This is like, you want to roam. This is not about the lane.
Black Shield, no knock about a sneaky, stays safe right there, walks right back down. Pretty equal farm on the bottom laners right now. Top lane, despite the solo kill, or sorry, the gank kill coming through, Ruin is up 15 CS up there, still playing aggressively.
And I think it would be quite an accomplishment for CLG to win this game because it is a style they're not that familiar with playing PoE on the Qiayana. The early Moby Boots are great for Qiayana. It's one of her highest win rate boot because every time you're able to unlock the roam, that's where Qiayana can really pick up kills. However, it is against Nisqy's Taliyah, who should consistently keep the wave shoved in, and it's against a Rek'Sai, who if Svenskeren catches you in the river, you're also dead. So CLG has a very slim margin for error and is trying this heavy roaming strat against a team who is the best at it.
Yeah, certainly the case. And normally, Moby Boots are great, but usually see them after, some early lethality and some things to help you allow to get that kill pressure. We'll see if they can execute on it, though. Would be very excited to see them pull this off. Wiggily, though, on a ward here, and Svenskeren is in the area, so C9 knows this potential 2v2 is coming.
C9 might actually win this.
Gonna be knocked up, shoved around, a million damage on him, but finds minutes to jump too. But here's the rest of it. Svenskeren gonna claim that kill, no problem with the ultimate.
It is a tall order to take down Nisqy Svenskeren in the 2v2. The vision control there is something Wiggily should have been respecting. His sweeper was just off cooldown for 10 more seconds. Was hoping that it wasn't warded, but because it was, C9 just set that play up beautifully.
Yeah, the fling was so well timed there, the seismic shove as they're looking to go in on Sneaky here. It's an all-in.
Time's out, big damage there. Morgana, he flashes to follow it, and it's gonna be up in the air, stunned. The damage comes through. Zeyzal sadly claims the last kill. No cash into the Draven, but a great 2-on-2 kill for Cloud9.
Exactly the start that Cloud9 would want in the clinching game. When CLG goes all in on the early game, they get the 2v2 kill with the Draven Morgana.
And Biofrost was not 6. You don't have heal on Xayah, you have teleport. I was very surprised to see them actually opting into that all-in. The Morgana ultimate is so powerful because the tether actually stays through the Xayah ultimate. There's no actual escaping that unless you can create the distance. So Cloud9 playing that 2v2 out well, CLG trying to pressure mid.
It's like a repeat of the first game, except the ganks aren't working. C9 is ready for them.
Big damage again for Licorice. Seeing these trades look very good, but keep in mind Ruin is still doing well in the farm territory, right? He's losing the health, but he's winning the lane in that regard. Wouldn't be surprised to see him up in gold overall, despite how ugly it might look. Svenskeren still going to be able to keep clearing his own jungle safely as well.
Yeah, right here, CLG saw their level 6 power spike, thought to go in. You have to wonder if they even knew if Zeyzal was level 6.
Yeah.
Because walking that far forward into the brush almost feels like suicide against the Morgana. You can see the 2v2 kill with Zeyzal at 100% health. Makes you see it's not even close.
I wonder if he like stepped out of lane and then walked back
Yeah.
to lane in the brush and they didn't even know he was there. You know, it definitely seems like a really strange time to all in. No 6 on Rakan. You're down a combat summoner. You didn't even get Sneaky's flash. You didn't get any health off Zeyzal. That was not close and is going to make a tough lane tougher. We'll see, though, can they get Sneaky to cash in, or can CLG shut that down? Because this Draven is starting to build up a lot of stacks, you know, up around 250, I do believe now. So that is a lot of potential bonus gold that could be going his way.
And C9 are in total control of the game. Getting the 10-minute, 30-second Rift Herald means they can get a proactive use of it and get the extra gold. Sometimes you would delay to get the turret. Here, they're going to get the plates and the turret almost guaranteed. PoE is back in base yet again, probably because he got poked down from Nisqy, and this turret is most likely dead.
Tragic. The first 2 plates, there have been no problem here as well, and they're going to keep Licorice and Svenskeren here together as a duo. You see how far back Ruin, he's recalling away. Thankfully for him, the Herald's actually tanking all the shots, so he's not losing any minions just yet, but he is giving away this turret.
Yeah, you can see Zeyzal is actually moving up on the map here to potentially protect what could be a dive. There's you know, 2 members here. They're looking to try to set up a play on that bottom side.
C9 is so ready for these plays. I have to credit them for how well they are stopping anything CLG wants to do. PoE had gone back for the Tiamat in the previous play, which then C9 used to make a play top lane. And they think, okay, what's next for CLG? Every time we try and make a play top lane, CLG's gonna try and crash bottom. Okay, Nisqy, don't go back to lane. Go back bottom lane. That scares CLG off the dive. And here, they're there for yet another game.
Kicking him forward now. Big damage onto Ruin. Having to be burns the flat, but here comes Rek'Sai for round 2. Licorice drops the aggro, pops the ult, and a kill on the top side. 2v1 yet again. 6-2 in kills. Bot lane playing safe to not die.
Yeah, very well handled dive there. C9 knows they need to show respect because they know Qiayana is missing. They know Elise is down here on the bottom side, and you don't want to lose Draven with all of these stacks. Plus, you're getting so much on the top side, there's no onus on them to actually make things happen right now on bot. You just need to chill, let this advantage on the top side show.
Cloud9 looking like a 3-0 here. They are sizably ahead every single early game, and while CLG can play the mid close, they have yet to show us a comeback here. Right now, they're looking at the Ocean Drake. This one at least will go their way. C9 played the Ocean a little while ago off some bot lane pressure. There's going to be a tight score on that Drake count. There's something to CLG's credit, but top turret almost dead.
And I think because of the turret destruction early, and plates falling in 1 minute and 30 seconds, the second Ocean Drake is of very low importance to C9, so that's one of the least valuable Drakes CLG could actually get in this specific situation. C9, so comfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, Jayce, you know, you want to avoid that lane matchup. He was doing pretty well in the 1v1, but all this jungle pressure, Rift Herald up there, that's now a 1,200 or so gold advantage because all the turret plates, the second turret as well. Now, this Aatrox is going to be really, really tough to deal with, even in the 1v1 at this point. You have Tabbies and a full Black Cleaver, and the Ghost Blade is the only thing completed here on the other side.
Wave pressure comes in yet again. We do have a farm lead for PoE, and again, was involved in that 2v2 in the mid lane a little while ago, but otherwise has yet to get out of lane. Has pushed people away from the turret, hasn't been involved in kills out of lane, I should say. Any actual action has yet to happen. 4,000 gold is Cloud9's lead, 13.5 in. Plates will fall, very few turrets will be pressured anymore.
And C9 is actually hoping PoE goes in for something on this play. That's why Svenskeren is sitting on the control ward. They have double control wards in the river to be there in case PoE tries anything tricky. And this 4,000 gold lead is the largest lead they've had pre-15 minutes so far this series, and it's in the game where CLG was picking a more early game composition and less scaling, so it's kind of going from bad to worse. Now they want to dive Stixxay.
He's at 2/3 HP right now, 3 around him, but turret aggro and Svenskeren makes him kite back a little bit, loses some HP. Anything more comes out of this one. Oh, Licorice! Grabs
Level
the red.
7 in this game, lower level than the supports.
It's getting nothing done. Svenskeren 2 levels above him. Bot lane at least going to be cleared away, so CLG won't be dove. It's not going to go from bad to worse. Just going to stay at bad right now. 3 minutes till the Infernal Drake spawns. That's probably going to be C9's where they want to go for it. Wiggily gets a camp. Level 8. Nope, not yet.
Yeah, not quite there yet. So much pressure here around this bottom lane. Lots of junglers hovering. You can see Taliyah moving down towards this bottom side, trying to be in range of the ultimate. PowerOfEvil did go back to base again, so this would be a man advantage for C9 if they want to force it. They're looking to try to make something happen here.
Yeah, CLG, this would be their way back into the game, is to try and repel a dive. So I think C9 kind of knows that even though they're themselves are in early game calm, they're not on a clock because they too have about the same scaling as CLG if they think about going towards the late game. So I think it's going to try and take what the game gives them.
Game's not giving them very much, sadly, but they're going to try for it anyway. Nice auto towards Biofrost. It's pretty meaningful damage. Jukes away. That cooldown's not terribly important, but Wiggily again sitting around. Knows he's on a control ward. Not spotted unless Rek'Sai was tracking with Tremor Sense, and that's not what's happening here. But still, C9 able to happily push forward, earn extra gold. The Sightstone, by the way, done for Zeyzal. Not so for this Rakan. Yet to be able to put wards down.
And with this advantage on the top side, Licorice has been shoving up so aggressively, knowing that Wiggily has to hover on this bottom side because they're constantly threatening a dive. So he can push with Reckless Abandon. He can be in Jayce's face in a way that you don't normally get to play in a standard map state.
And Wiggily was able to clear his wolves, so finally hits level 8, but just so far behind the pace of the game. Sven just ticked 10 off of Raptors. So now when they go into the river, even if CLG has the jump on them, we're going to have to see if they can win it.
And they're going to find some big damage right here. Now going right across this one. The shutdown comes through.
Sneaky.
And here comes the next round for this one. PoE forced to flash away. Staying alive now. Biofrost cutting back now as well. And it's C9's time to re-engage. Stixxay going to find only one route though. And a few autos would kill him. The ult comes across. Needs one more afterwards. And Sneaky. 843 for the shutdown or the cash in. That's a lot of gold.
Worth in the one-for-one terms. The shutdown on Svenskeren was pretty beefy, and now PowerOfEvil goes for the dive.
That's a big stun. They got the burst damage, and Counterlogic Gaming finally showing signs of life. But every time it's cut short, the turret answers back on the PoE.
And Licorice is on the chase here. He has that additional move speed. Next E might get him.
Woo!
He's pretty fast.
Yeah, he's out.
Let's see. Well,
Water walking.
He got dashes on Licorice, and likely the water walking on Wiggily.
Oh.
He might be able to reach with
He
this
can
next
dash this
one.
wall.
Round two. All right, he's safe.
Can they kill him
It's
now?
gonna be found. 3v1, forced to flash away. Not bad.
Yeah, I think Licorice got a little bit greedy for it. As soon as you see the teleport, you could probably just back away.
Yeah.
You know, take that as a win. Wanted the kill, does end up costing him his flash.
Getting the teleport, though, with this Infernal Drake up in 10 seconds means they can move. But looking at this is the type of thing CLG had to do. Svenskeren's worth the most gold on the team. Solo queue advice, kill the guy with the bounties. You'll get the most gold for him. They do that. But then, unfortunately, Sneaky's been building up his own stack of gold in Adoration and can convert it because they have a large gold lead, because they roam second to the river, because CLG had burned everything to get that first kill.
Yeah.
It ends up being still more gold in C9's pocket.
I mean, that was 1143, the total gold there for Sneaky. He got 300 for the kill, 843 for the cash-in. That is an enormous payday. He has 3,500 gold when he goes back to base, so really can get whatever he wants. Wouldn't be surprised to see a full IE, you know, get a lot more AD in that build, and Sneaky is going to be off to the races here.
In a very good spot now is CLG going to knock down this turret. They're pretty comfortable. At least they're getting some things occasionally, but it's 3-1 in turrets right now, and the gold lead's still 4,500. Cloud9 at least holding the lead here as the IE indeed does come through. That's bought wholesale.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the items now between these two marksmen, right? It's not even close. You know, you're going to be so strong now on Sneaky with all of this AD. You get one good hit on someone like Qiayana even, they just have to back out of the fight.
All right, mid lane siege now happening. Sneaky, 300 attack damage, getting plenty of damage down here. Gonna keep feeling comfortable as gets away from all the roots, all the CC, and that turret nearly dead.
Yeah, and C9 probably just going to camp here until they get that turret or force CLG into an initiation, because they can counter-engage things relatively well with the Morg and the Black Shields. CLG was attempting a flank, gets cut off by Svenskeren, which means they get the turret.
That one goes 4-1 now in turrets as C9 continues to play forward, and looks like they're about to sweep CLG, and it keeps going this way.
It's just such a smart way to play, I think, grouping up and sieging like this. You have Bloodthirster on Sneaky, so poke means nothing on him. You have Zeyzal sitting behind him with a black shield, so you can't hard engage on him either. So he can just basically walk up for free, get a couple hits in, take some poke, heal up off the next wave, rinse and repeat.
And I think C9 is looking so good as a team throughout this series. You say the smart thing to do. That's all they've been doing this entire series in game one. The smart thing to do is never let CLG group to engage, so they kept them split the whole game and actually won the game without team fighting. Now they pick the Draven, get the early Bloodthirster, group, instead of trying to play the 1-through run, showing flexibility in the quest towards 3-0ing CLG.
Okay, Again, has a team in for safety. Biofrost staying alive, moving ever closer to his extra damage output here as Ruin. Well, he's got the CS lead at the very least, but he's lost turrets and lost a couple of kills already. Game state still sits at 5,000. Wiggily gets spotted by the Scryer's Bloom and can only knock down a little tiny ward.
And I'd love to see CLG, continue to go at their opponents. You need to keep looking for plays. You need to look for picks in the side lane because that is the real way you're going to try to get back into this game. If we could see Wiggily shadowing Ruin, who pushes aggressively, these sorts of plays, if you can get Licorice into a fight and take him down, hey, now you're spreading the map. Now you're buying time for yourselves to get vision around Baron and start to kind of claw your way back in.
Yeah, and I think crucially trying to compare Nisqy's Qiayana game with PowerOfEvil's Qiayana game, it's how far were we able to get in the early game as they pick.
They're
He's
getting
dead.
farmed off. Ruin Sneaky gets another cash in. The game's getting farther and farther away from Counter Logic Gaming here. They need to reverse sweep. They're not going to get a game.
The point is basically the side laners are or aren't threatening. And right now, Ruin and PoE aren't. So part of it is your side laners in mid lane getting hit by dark bindings. The second part is PoE doesn't have kill threat on any one of the side lanes. So C9 in complete control.
We're into number 5. Cloud9 showed up to play today. The same starting 5 they began the split with. Looking good.
Yeah, and bad goes to worse with this next Infernal on the table. That is so big for C9. You have a full AD jungler here. Rek'Sai is already way ahead. He's going to get so much out of that. That would be the second Infernal as well. Sneaky, you already pointed out, already has almost 300 AD. And a second Infernal in there. You get a Rapid Fire in there, 1 crit. Means you don't get to fight anymore.
This is scary. Cloud9 looking now at complete map control. As you mentioned, Infernal Drake spawns 75 seconds. Baron's already up, mid lane under fire. The only turret left alive is bot lane tier 2, and Licorice has TP. He can split easily, and it's no problem there. C9 once again going back through for this top jungle. Looking a little bit of poke, looking at Ruin. In melee form, there's no chance to kill Sneaky.
So slim chance for CLG to come back, but what we're looking for is when C9 has someone in a side lane that isn't matched and look for Biofrost to try and flash engage. He'd R first because it's going to be a half-second lockout, then flash right on top of someone to try and get that engage. But they also have to bait out the Black Shield, which is what makes this so difficult, and that also is what making CLG so hesitant in this play.
Licorice was sitting in base looking for maybe a TP flank with Home Guard. He's still there. He goes back. Okay, he's going to go back to lane. He's fine now. It's not going to be the Home Guard TP flank, but potential opportunity there for C9's side. They're going to back off, and Licorice running back towards the team.
Yeah, he's going to head straight to Dragon. This is what they're trying to do, is actually keep CLG corralled into the area. You'll notice there's no red wards, anywhere around the Dragon. It's complete darkness, so now you have to try to face check into a potential binding, which means almost certain death.
Bit of damage, no binds though, and it's an easy walk away for CLG. Drake's alive.
Yeah, and C9 is just free to take pot shots. Zeyzal throws out a dark binding. If it lands, they get a kill. If it doesn't, okay, CLG, I dare you to try and engage into our piles of gold. So that's why C9 is just playing this fairly soft. We actually have only seen 1 binding land. They should still pressure around this Infernal Drake though, and that's where CLG is going to try and go. Almost saying C9, try and come to us, because C9's hard engage isn't that great.
Nisqy actually face-checking into PoE
Oh,
though.
solo
they
kill.
got him!
PoE found a solo kill. That could be the start of things to come, as now it's going to be C9 running away. The Drake goes to Counter Logic Gaming. That is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, Nisqy was actually trying to go to the side to wall off CLG with the ultimate from Taliyah there so that they could then engage. But PowerOfEvil preempted that. He was waiting in that tri-brush. If you face check a Qiayana, strong or not, you're gonna die.
Wow, that was
huge.
potentially where the game was just completely shut. And now there's still a little bit of an opening for CLG. He probably loses this 1v1 to Svenskeren.
Ooh. Jumping around. He's got the fancy feet. The TP coming in. Now Svenskeren can be found. Wiggly's nearby. They're going to find that stun. This could be a rout of kills as the ult comes in for a second of effort, but that's now 2-0 in kills. Infernal picked up and Jungler dead.
That's 40 seconds. They can actually potentially, get more off of this. So this is one more time. So he's trying to get behind to actually drop the Taliyah ultimate again to wall them in, go for the flank. PoE is waiting for it. Not only do they get the kill, they get the Infernal, which is such a big deal at this point in the game. And now Biofrost looking for a flank here.
They have the numbers advantage if they go.
There's over the wall. They get the knockup, the Storm, and they're going to find a lot of damage here. Now he's going to come backwards. The flash for Nisqy, staying safe, and instead the bind turns it back around. It's actually Stixxay who dies.
Check for your stopwatches. Nisqy had held it there, hadn't completed Zhonya's, was able to repel that engage, and that was the window that CLG saw, but they couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah, not able to get it done, and now pings over onto the Baron without Stixxay. how can CLG really take this fight? I feel like it's going to come down to a potential Baron steal here. Biofrost has no ult, no sums. How do you even get in?
Aatrox over the wall, a quick jump away, but Biofrost cannot get into anything here. He can spot the back of the Baron pit. They know what's happening, but it doesn't matter. Black shield's on, Licorice
gotta
goes
hurry.
out the team. Wiggily has
Close.
to somehow find a
He
way
can
in.
make it.
2K health. Can he look for it? Looks for the knockup. Can he get over the wall? Cannot land the smite though. And the Itsy Bitsy Spider is washed down the water spout. Baron goes to Cloud9.
Very close to being a steal for Wiggily as he actually got the repel in. Licorice couldn't zone quite enough, but because the Baron was acquired by C9, now they are in the driver's side. That whole sequence has to be very deflating for CLG because they found such awesome picks onto Nisqy and Svenskeren, only to have their third pick attempt foiled in mid and have that turn into a Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they needed that sort of a play. I think he's so absurdly rich now. You know, he's nearly 4K out of his lane opponent, right? He went back, finished a rapid fire, then bought another Zeal, right? So he now has so much crit, so much AD. If they can protect Sneaky, who has both summoners still, it should be a fairly easy job. I don't see how CLG win even in an extended fight.
You gotta hope for something crazy. Hope for some kind of a miracle. 8,000 gold separates the squads, plus the Baron buff on. Here's the flank. PoE flashes. Ult does not find much of a stun, but a charm does come through. Sneaky is low. Svenskeren just barely getting away. They're gonna stay alive. Now the re-engage. The wall cannot quite lock them off. And CLG is able to run away. Very slim margins, but C9 stays alive.
Yeah, really good flank attempt there, though, from CLG. Almost got Sneaky. That would have been huge. They did get both sums off of him.
Yeah, the fact that they all in didn't get Sneaky, and then the game isn't over is actually really good for CLG because you'd expect that a failed kill onto Sneaky would mean he murders everyone. But a really unfortunate ult there by Nisqy to actually prevent the rest of the team from following through. And I think good look, but you can also see how difficult it's going to be to take him down. His Bloodthirster shield kept him alive, and now it allows him to burn in him.
The engage tools are gone, so Sneaky can play with complete just impunity. And he's going to keep running forward now. Looking at now the play towards the bottom side as Ruin can't quite get on a Licorice here either. Middle inhibitor is going to drop, and that's now the base cracked open. PoE on the flank again.
He wants to flank, but he doesn't have ultimate. So he actually ran all the way into the jungle to get the grass blade. Sometimes you'd expect him to grab water for a root, but he needs his ultimate if he wants any type of flank to have a chance of working.
Gets the invisibility. Not going to find much here, though. Walks right back out. Look at the poke back and forth. Not going to get Biofrost just yet, but the turret is still getting sieged by this cannon minion. Slowly but surely getting chucked down a little bit lower by time.
And without CLG having flashes on any of their playmakers, it's just, how do you ever get in, right? You know, it seems so difficult to go straight at them. Sneaky getting so much damage down on this turret, it may just fall right here.
That's going to be turret falling. Now another open inhibitor. Big damage into PoE, but he really cannot fight Licorice. Here goes Svenskeren, lands the Q, that's ult. That's ult, that's PoE going down. That's a nice assassination. The re-engage does find one 4v4, but Wiggily gets pushed aside. And that's the kill coming across now. Cloud9 looking at the 3-0, looking at 4v3 inside the opposing base.
They still have Baron buff for another 30 seconds. 2 members down, they're gonna push for the win.
And the wall comes up, separating Counter Logic Gaming. They're gonna knock down one of the turrets, and now comes the re-engage, hoping to make it happen. Ruin comes across, big damage for Stixxay, and they're gonna get that kill picked up 3-1 of the re-engage, and Licorice has to run away. Double inhibitor, though, is down.
The absolute miracle defense, though. You had to think the game was over there, but Stixxay, Biofrost, and Ruin are able to hold the line and keep their playoff hopes just barely alive.
C9 definitely saw themselves on the final stage during this push. Watching it one more time, let's see Sneaky, because he's the one who's gonna try and run over everyone. Actually gets hit by a charm. Black Shield goes on to Licorice instead of Sneaky. That buys them enough time to fight through the incredibly fed Draven and enough time for Stixxay to pick up the triple.
And that was, he's like, oh,
I
we're
guess
not
it's
dead?
not over.
Oh, that is hilarious. That is, I mean, such a good engage by Biofrost. Credit where credit is due, and Stixxay had the route to set it up, but that just encapsulated that perfectly.
Great mind, whoever's watching all the player cams, to see PoE's reaction from that fight. Now, his ult's back up, his ignite's back up, his flash will be up. Still C9 in a lot of control, but if they can ever get that Black Shield down and get another charm onto Sneaky, they have a chance. Licorice's Aatrox is also really, really fed. I think you could say Licorice's and then Phil Champion is really, really fed in any game this series, and you'd be correct. But this game as well, if everything goes on a Nisqy, you still have to worry about Licorice tearing up the backline.
You almost pick anyone on Cloud9, to be honest. This time around, though, we'll see if they can close it out. Baron buff spawns again in just over a minute, and with an 8,000 gold lead, you have to expect they should own all of the territory. Mountain Drake in 4 minutes, that's not going to happen. Game probably ends before that gets contested here. C9, I think, are aiming for the Baron setup into the siege that closes it out. Double inhibitor still down, and they'll be down during the Baron push itself.
Licorice was spotted on that ward. CLG are trying to lay a trap here.
Yeah, setup isn't free, and if CLGs is going to get a pick, it's probably while C9 is trying to get the setup. So that's why they're laying in wait here. They had a small window with 2 inhibs being down, and the wave's not quite crashing, but that window is now gone, and it's C9's turn.
Quick shove, decent damage. Biofrost tanky enough, though, walks right back out.
C9 don't need to force anything, though. You have supers that are coming in the bottom wave, right? Just wait.
Oh, but they have found Licorice, though. Gets some damage, gets the stun, the knock up here as well. Stixxay also catches out Nisqy. It's a 2 for 0, and what a better time for it. Yes, a kill comes through to Sneaky.
The supers, though.
They're going for the
going to try and run. C9's going to try and run for the base.
Oh, he stops one recall. That's a big deal right there. They're going now for the Nexus turrets themselves, but it's 4v3.
Yeah, if they don't get it, they could wipe and actually give up Baron, so CLG chases them down. It could be turning.
Okay, it's 1 turret down. The recalls come in, and C9 plays it right. They stop the recalls. They buy a few seconds. They get the turret and they get out.
C9 getting antsy, though. There's no reason when you don't have eyes on everyone to force that play. There's multiple supers coming in the bottom lane. Just wait till people show to actually wave clear, then move forward for that inhibitor turret. So C9 making some errors here, and CLG are capitalizing on staying alive as a result.
This is not where you want to falter if you're C9 after getting reverse swept in spring. But watching this one more time, Licorice actually steps up to the wave when he did not need to, because Wiggily probably spent about 30 seconds in that jungle brush. That's what ends up catching him out, and Stixxay just annihilates Nisqy. That's the second time Nisqy's just been annihilated, kind of wandering on his own here. Remember, this is also a slightly different style for Nisqy. He's not on the dueling Sylas or Akali or Aurelia. He's on a very squishy mage, and he needs to follow behind his team.
About 14,000 gold on Stixxay. 4 completed crit items means he crits every single auto attack on his substantial 283 attack damage, so can take over these games, the Xayah.
And inhibs are coming back up. There's a minute on the bottom inhib. C9, if they win a fight, yes, the game is over, but
Wiggily.
it's not free here. Wiggily trying to catch Licorice, big burst.
Bit of a stun. Black Shield's on. When he knocked up, though, has to jump into the air. But where does he come down? Right in front of C9. Zonia's buys a second. Here's the re-engage. They find the charm, looking for the damage. Licorice goes down 1 for 0. And again, a kill for PoE. But the answer back is there. Svenskeren finds himself 1 kill now as well, but can he run away? That answer maybe is yes, as he tunnels over the wall. Looks to keep running. Does have a lot of points. Does have some health, but PoE coming around the wall yet again. And again, the engage towards the mid lane now as PoE does grab that kill. And now the remaining 2 members of Cloud9 sitting around. The binding lands, but it's 2 versus 4 on the map.
This is going to be a CLG Baron. It's theirs, but C9 are going to try to go for the base. Remember, this is an open Nexus. It is exposed.
Remember, the inhibitor is back up in 20
That
seconds,
ward.
and the ward sees them with the sweep. So C9 was threatening, but this entire last 6 minutes,
Oh, they're going
CLG's
again.
attempted a miracle.
The bases were canceled.
They were,
10
but
seconds.
the inhib's up in 10 seconds.
And
They
it's
can
recall.
see the ring on the inhibitor if they're paying attention, which I think they are. They don't get that fancy timer in the bottom right like we do, but they decide better of it, know the inhibitor respawn, and CLG hold the line.
They are just fighting tooth and nail to stay alive here. And Wiggily, it looks like he had bit off more than he can chew, but he bought so much time with the Zonias. Then they engage. Biofrost out of fog, already pre-popped the ult, so the lockout was over. Charm into the middle of a lot of the team, and look at PoE on the side. Catches out Nisqy, erases him off the map, and CLG are making it happen.
Yeah, credit to Biofrost's engage in that one. And the Zonias, I think, definitely caught C9 off of guard, and it's what allowed Biofrost the time for that setup. It did expend the flash of PoE, and they do have Baron now, though, so it's CLG who's actually on the offensive for really the first time this series.
I mean, despite the fact that C9 has been running this game, you know, for almost the whole time, despite the fact there's no Nexus turrets, if CLG win 1 decisive fight, you can march it down and end at 34 minutes with Baron.
Absolutely.
Finally, the last outer turret on the board. CLG get the 3rd here, 15 to 16 in kills, and the gold lead has shrunk to only 3,500. The Mountain Drake alive. Somehow CLG the map control. They might get this one now. The red buff goes over to Sneaky, and we can see now the waves are pushed mid, top, and bot lane, all shoving forward. Counterlogic Gaming seemingly have turned the corner in this game. Reverse sweeps start with a single game. You got to find 2 more afterwards, but they've at least started to come back in this climactic game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't talked about it much because Nisqy being behind didn't feel like it was going to matter. But Nisqy, now that the game is evening out, you're 3,000 gold down, right? He has not been having great effectiveness. PowerOfEvil has been finding these solo kills, and there is their lead falling off a cliff.
10,614 gold. If they lose this game, that I believe would be the largest gold lead lost in a game. So CLG not only trying to keep their season alive, also trying to pull off the largest upset of the split.
Big win here. 2,500 separates the squads. We're counting down the gold as CLG still have a minute and a quarter with Baron buff.
The game is on a knife's edge because as much as CLG are back in and still have potential to win, you lose one fight, there's no Nexus turrets, there's no fallback plan. CLG will just get sieged and they'll lose. And it's so important now. Who is going to make that big play? Who is going to decide this game?
Let's actually look at it from C9's perspective because they were easily front-running in this game, fishing for Morgana bindings, but as far as hard engage options, they don't have
Find the
If
shove.
they get a bind, though,
Ruin, he's going to lose. Not quite the Guardian Angel. The shields come in, just stays alive. Another turret falls, and 40 seconds of Baron buff. It might be time to reset here for CLG.
but binds like that are really all they have as far as hard initiation goes. Everything else is about wave control, Taliyah ults, poke, map pressure. They lose those things. They lose the ability to dictate the game. And since CLG has more initiation tools, Rakan, Qiayana, Elise, they're the ones that have been able to find the fights.
And this is taking me back so much to game 1 between CLG and Optic, where it was all on a Rek'Sai to find those engagements, and Wiggily was able to kind of dig them out of this situation, finding engages onto Arrows Ezreal, finding engages onto Crown. And now we're in a similar spot where, yeah, it's down to Svenskeren very likely, where you're going to have to find those flash engages on the Rek'Sai because, to your point, you can't count on hitting a bind.
Yeah.
Baron buff gone. Mountain Drake picked up actually by Cloud9 at the end of it all, as CLG were more worried about getting turrets and gold than the Drake. Can't say it's wrong. You're not going to get much out of Drake, to be honest, anyway. I don't think it actually affects inhibitors. There's no turrets to kill, so not going to do much on the C9 side. As we look now at the game state, and once again point out the fact that the gold lead is only 2,000 here. It was 10,000 before. 20% of what it was. Quick maths.
Both Marks and Phreak, full items.
Yes.
Bloodthirster on Stixxay now as well. So if he's not instantly bursted out, he too can try and carry into the late game team fights.
I mean, he's level 18. He's actually stronger than Nisqy right now. You know, he is maxed out on items, in experience, and the Elder Dragon could really be what we're playing for here. If C9 do not feel that they have reliable enough engage, they do still have 4 dragons, and that Elder coming up, 350 with that and the Baron coming into play.
Woo!
Oh. 4 ways, though, to kind of get it in.
How many ways can this game feel like it's flipped on itself? We saw Licorice steal red buff away from Wiggily when he was starved at level 7. Now we see Ruin shock blasting the blue buff steal to get it back. 23 minutes later. Unbelievable how this game is even still happening. Could still be one fight to end the series, but if CLG does pull this back, talk about a momentum swinger.
One thing I want to point out actually is I feel like, other than the map state, which is obviously pretty incredible with the turrets down, I think CLG are actually stronger because they're up in levels in almost every single role. The gold is whatever, we're maxing out items. Several champions are 2 levels up in certain cases. That's a lot of golden stats, and it's a lot of spell power as well.
One thing I will point to, though, second GA completed for C9. That gives you a lot of power in one fight. You have these melee champions that want to flash in, that want to dive in and create space, and having that reset in the one fight that could decide the game is certainly an edge.
Yeah, I think it's a great call out on the experience. You can also just think, well, if they were down 10,000 gold in winning fights, and now they're only down 2,000 gold, maybe they'll still be able to win fights. So much of it, because of the initiation power, is about whether or not they get the clean start to a fight.
That's what it comes down to. As you mentioned, double G and Cloud9, double stopwatch on Wiggily. Zhonya's plus the stopwatch. He can actually buy like,
like
8
that.
seconds between those and the repel.
I think it's much more powerful than, say, a sword pot at this point in the game, right? That could be game-changing.
They're
They're
spotting.
keeping
They're going.
They're going.
How much space can they buy?
How are you blanking?
2,000 health! Oh, he picks it up just in time. And here comes the team fight. They're knocking him to the back line. Here comes the Void Rush as well. They're stuck inside the pit. Elise comes down. Oh, big pickup for PowerOfEvil. It's 2 kills. And Nisqy's next up to fall. It's 4 kills. It's only Licorice. Do you believe it? It looks like CLG have done it. Licorice will fall. 45-second respawn timers. And we're going back to April. The reverse sweep might actually happen. Counter Logic Gaming. We're down 10,000 gold. About to be eliminated. And they made it happen. Fight after fight after fight. CLG grew up and they took down game 3.
What a comeback from CLG. And in the game-defining fight, their PowerOfEvil finds the flank. The ult